me, I feel that there is 3 types of relationships you can have with Christ. You can have a relationship of knowledge of Him, where you just know who He is and that He exists. You can have a relationship of belief, and you can have a relationship of trust. And my story, I've been in all 3 relationships, and the last one is where I am now is really just trust. I grew up in a Christian home. I went to church every Sunday, went to Awana on Wednesdays, but didn't really do much else involving Christ besides that. I was a figure skater at the time, and I had started figure skating when I was 16 months old. And I was a competitive figure skater for 12 years. And so skating really took up a lot of my time when I was younger. And that, I kind of realized later in my life that I didn't have my priorities right. I had skating at the top, and then Christ, and then my family. And so as I went through, I was starting to realize that. And in 7th grade, I really started to not make the best decisions. I just wasn't making, like I said, very good decisions in school and with the things that I did outside of school. And so that really started to get to me, and I just started to realize that I wasn't going to be able to do everything, and that I was just a complete mess. And so I was going to have to change my life somehow. I didn't know how, and I was very scared. But I knew that change was going to happen. And one night in March of 7th grade, I just broke down crying. I'm like, skating, I can't take this skating anymore. I had realized that that was really what was taking up a lot of my time. And with that, I just didn't know how I could honor Christ and figure skate. For me, that was a really tough thing. And so in 7th grade, like I said, in March, I just broke down crying to God one night and just said that I was really lost and I needed Him, and I needed to find stability in my life, something I could depend on that would be there. And so after that, I really started to, I continued skating for a little while, really starting to make some better choices and include Christ as much as I could in the things I did and the way I acted, but I was still skating and I still felt like something was missing. And so after that, it was about 8th grade, I chose to, I chose to step out of skating. I wasn't for sure if I was going to exactly, but kind of Christ helped reassure me that I would be okay if I stepped out of skating. And He did that by having 3 things happen. And I just prayed to Him and asked that He would help me pass one of the tests, help me land a hard jump I had been working on, and also just help me get 1st place, because I had always gotten 3rd, and so I always felt like that wasn't good, and so I had always wanted to get that 1st place. And so those were the 3 things I asked Him for, and I said, with these 3 things, I'll step out, because I've achieved all the goals that I wanted to with that. And so all 3 of those things happened, and I was just like, I think I'll be okay. I know I'll be okay, because I had prayed multiple times, and Christ had made them happen. And so I stepped out of skating, and I was very scared, and I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, because I love skating. I still do. But I just knew I needed to, in order to have my priorities right. So after I stepped out of skating, it was really just God's timing, perfect timing that I chose to step out of skating. Because after I did, my family went through kind of a tough time. My grandpa had a stroke, and my grandma had a stroke, and both of my grandpas have Alzheimer's, and that is getting much worse. And then also my dad just this past January lost his job, and so just not having skating in the way really helps me be able to be with my family during those times. And so I really feel that God had led me to do that, and that God's hand was through it all. And my family, we are just we don't always understand why these things are happening, but we know that if we just trust in God and turn our lives, all of what we have, over to Him, He will make a way, and because even though these bad things are happening, we know that there'll be a way to get through them. So even though we're kind of going through a tough time, one verse that really comforted me was Jeremiah 29:11, and that says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." And I just really clung on to that. Like, God had plans for me. He had it all planned out. He was going to work it out. And though I couldn't see that, I could trust Him. And so that's what we really are relying on. And my dad actually just recently got a job in Texas, and so that is an answer to a prayer of ours. And the other things that are like Alzheimer's, my grandpa's with Alzheimer's. It's hard, definitely, but now that I have that trust in God, I can definitely lean on Him when it gets extra tough. And I think, just looking back, all these things, it's God's timing through it all. And so I just really want you guys to know that even though sometimes we feel like this is the way we're supposed to go, God has another plan. And just trusting in Him, He has the best plan for us. And so, yeah, that's kind of my story. My name's Jess, and I'm a follower of Christ.